Welcome back, everyone, to the November update for the TQQQ challenge. It is Saturday morning, November 15th, 2025, and this month marks a significant moment in our journey. For the very first time since we began this challenge, our TQQQ portfolio has grown to over $14,500 in unrealized profits. This milestone was powered by a sustained market rally that began after the Golden Cross formation we saw in QQQ back on June 23rd. The momentum carried TQQQ to a spectacular all-time high price of $121 on October 29, 2025, smashing last month's record of $109. However, the market is a fickle beast. We saw TQQQ plunge from that $121 peak down to $99 yesterday, before bouncing back to $106. So, let's start with where we are today. TQQQ is currently trading at approximately $106, which is higher than last month's level of $97. We saw TQQQ hit a previous all-time high of $93 back on December 16, 2024. From there, it plunged dramatically to just $35 on April 7. But then, TQQQ staged a historic full recovery, roaring back to a new all-time high of $121 on October 29, 2025. I remember one of our subscribers commented this summer, when TQQQ was less than $90, that TQQQ would hit $120 this year. As you all know, TQQQ is a leveraged instrument that aims to track 3 times the daily performance of QQQ, so understanding the health of the Nasdaq 100 is paramount. Since April 9 of this year, we have witnessed a historic market comeback. Specifically, since May 12, QQQ has been consistently trading above both the SMA 50 purple line and the SMA 200 green line. QQQ went below the SMA 50 purple line only 3 times on September 2nd, November 7th, and November 14th, but QQQ was able to go above the SMA 50 purple line on those same days. Now, let's go back to the QQQ chart and add the SMA 20 black line to get a better sense of the short-term picture. The SMA 20 is a faster indicator, reflecting immediate momentum, whereas the SMA 50 purple line shows the intermediate-term trend. Since April 23, 2025, QQQ slipped below the faster SMA 20 black line 6 times, on August 1st, August 20th, September 2nd, October 10th, November 7th, and November 13th. Crucially, on only 3 of those occasions, September 2nd, November 7th, and November 14th, did it fall all the way to the SMA 50 purple line, and it bounced from there. This behavior indicates QQQ maintains strong bullish momentum. We must now closely monitor whether QQQ can hold this critical line of support. If it does fall below this level, I am confident that QQQ will find its next major support and bounce back from the SMA 200 green line. These moments, when QQQ approaches the SMA 200 green line, represent excellent buying opportunities for TQQQ. As we discussed in our previous video, AI revolution versus internet boom, which will make you richer, I want to compare the internet revolution of the 1990s with the current AI boom of the 2020s to understand how often these buying opportunities arise. Since QQQ was only launched in March 1999, we need to use NDX, the ticker symbol for the Nasdaq 100 index. As you can see here, NDX was at $404 on January 3, 1995, and it skyrocketed to $4,816 by March 24, 2000. That's a phenomenal 12-fold increase in just over 5 years. However, this journey was anything but a straight line up. During that period, from January 1995 to March 2000, the NDX experienced 23 distinct corrections of at least 5%. Out of those 23 pullbacks, 11 were corrections of at least 10%, and 2 were significant corrections of at least 20%. The first major drop happened around October 1997, when the NDX fell by approximately 22% from its peak. The second occurred in July 1998, when the NDX tumbled by about 25%. Imagine if TQQQ had existed back then. A 25% drop in NDX would have translated into a 70% crash in TQQQ. Let's also look at how often the NDX approached its key moving averages during that time. In 1995, the index touched the SMA 50 purple line about 10 times and the SMA 200 green line once. In 1996, it approached the SMA 50 purple line 9 times and the SMA 200 green line twice. In 1997, it tested the SMA 50 purple line 7 times and the SMA 200 green line 5 times, even breaking below it significantly, which led to a death cross and a subsequent golden cross. In 1998, it hit the SMA 50 purple line 9 times and the SMA 200 green line 3 times. Finally, in 1999, the index pulled back to the SMA 50 purple line about 12 times but never once came close to the SMA 200 green line. This historical data from 1995 to 2000 tells us that we can expect roughly 7 to 12 opportunities per year to buy near the SMA 50 purple line, and 0 to 5 opportunities to buy near the SMA 200 green line. As I mentioned in last month's video, my ideal plan was to buy TQQQ near the SMA 200 green line. However, the market has been too strong, and that opportunity never materialized. Now that QQQ is testing the SMA 50 purple line, a new window is opening. My strategy is to buy a small portion near or below the SMA 50 purple line, save a medium portion for a potential dip to the SMA 200 green line, and reserve a large portion if it falls below the SMA 200 green line. I also use other indicators, such as volume, RSI, and MACD. Let's review what happened this week. The stock market ended the week on a mixed note, reflecting investor uncertainty over the Federal Reserve's next move on interest rates. U.S. stocks recovered from earlier losses on Friday, battling back from Wall Street's steepest sell-off in over a month. This capped a volatile week in which traders weighed strong economic data against lingering doubts about whether the Fed will cut rates soon. Technology stocks showed resilience, helping the Nasdaq, but broader market sentiment remained cautious. The week's swings highlighted how sensitive markets remain to signals from the central bank. Overall, Wall Street closed the week with a sense of hesitation, waiting for clearer guidance on monetary policy. Another report shows that AI stocks have hit a mini panic moment as soaring valuations spark fears of a bubble. Recent pullbacks in companies like Palantir and concerns over Nvidia's China revenues and OpenAI's ambitions have fueled investor jitters, even as analysts argue the long-term AI revolution remains intact. Despite the turbulence, many believe the sector will rally again, with massive downstream opportunities expected from AI deployment. On the economic front, the latest GDP Now forecast projects U.S. GDP growth for the third quarter of 2025 at a healthy 4%, a solid improvement from the negative 0.3% contraction in Q1 and the 3% growth in Q2. The CME FedWatch tool is now indicating that the Federal Reserve will not likely cut interest rates this December. The two cuts happened in September and October, and a third was initially expected in December. The stock market did not do well for the past 2 weeks because the Federal Reserve will probably not cut interest rates this December. Meanwhile, on Poly Market, the odds of a U.S. recession in 2025 have gone down further, falling from 66% in April down to just 4% today. That is one of the lowest probabilities we have seen all year. And finally, the Fear and Greed Index has fallen significantly. From a state of extreme greed just a few months ago, it has plunged to a reading of only 22, which is in the category of extreme fear. This suggests that TQQQ has a lot of room to climb the wall of worry over the next 2 months of 2025. Now, let's review our portfolio performance. Since last month's update, I added 1 share of TQQQ yesterday at $99. That limit order was placed on November 7th. My total investment now stands at approximately $20,100. Since December 2023, my goal has been to invest about $12,000 annually. I initially planned to invest $4,000 more by the end of November 2025, which will bring my total capital for the 2-year period to $24,000. However, since TQQQ is too strong, I could not find the buying opportunity to buy more. So, my new plan is to invest a total of $36,000 until the end of November 2026, which will fulfill my annual investment of $12,000 for the 3-year period. My plan is to deploy this capital below the SMA 50 purple line or near the SMA 200 green line. However, we must be realistic that we may not see QQQ touch the SMA 200 green line for some time. My current position is 327 shares of TQQQ, with an average cost basis of $61.62. The current value of my portfolio is approximately $34,600, with a total unrealized gain of about $14,500, representing a 72% return. For comparison, last month's return was 58% with paper gains of $11,600. For more details, you can always check out our October 2025 TQQQ update video. I have not sold any shares and have no plans to, unless I see unmistakable signals pointing to an imminent market crash. If you want to learn more about those signals, please check out my videos titled 10-year minus 3-month spread, recession indicator, and how to predict the stock market. The long-term strategy for this challenge remains unchanged. Invest $360,000 over 30-plus years and aim for multi-million-dollar growth. For the full explanation, watch my video Cash vs. SPY vs. QQQ vs. QLD vs. TQQQ, 30-year showdown. On a side note for the website, TQQQchallenge.com, I have made some changes. I have closed the investment simulation game due to low traffic. Instead, I have added new features I think you'll enjoy, including daily motivation, stock market news, stock charts, and a fun TQQQ Tetris game. My entire approach is guided by 4 simple principles. First, monthly investing, consistently putting $1,000 into TQQQ each month. Second, enhanced dollar cost averaging, or EDCA. This means buying more aggressively during downturns and less during peaks. Third, sell before crashes. I will only exit my positions when major market crash signals emerge, with the full intention of buying back in at much lower prices. And fourth, no margin. I am avoiding all debt to remain financially secure and minimize risk. The market is moving rapidly, driven by relentless innovation and the explosive growth in AI. Our mission is to stay focused, remain disciplined, and stay committed to our long-term strategy. Thank you for watching this month's update. If you found this analysis helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support brings incredible energy and purpose to this challenge. Until next time, take care, stay focused, and happy investing.